Hey, what's up, yo? I'm back in the office again, and I figured since I'm back in the office, let's talk money one more time. So let's talk money, loan flipping, part three. So I just wanted to come and there's a couple of things that I wanted to discuss, with this loan thing. So, part one, I showed you kind of like what I was doing. Part two, I showed you what I did to make it work. So this part three, I just wanted to go over some of the things that happen after you pay the loan. Things to be aware of, things that, I ran into, and I just wanted to make you aware of it too. So that way a couple little things don't come bite you in the ass at the very end after you did all this work. So I got my little cheat sheet here, little notebook. I got a couple pages. I'll post notes here somewhere. I'll try to, maybe right here. I don't know, because I'm kind of off kilter right now, so I'll just stay off kilter. But so let's start with number one. And what I'm going to say is, after you pay your loans, like I did the other day, I paid them all off. But what I got written here is check for crumbs left behind. Basically, after you pay your loans, after you pay your credit cards, keep an eye on those accounts and make sure that, that everything's paid off. So you don't want anything to come back and bite you in the ass. And what I mean by that is, depending on when you pay off your credit, there might be some uncalculated interest that still needs to be paid. Like me, myself, I ended up paying about either at the beginning or halfway through a payment period. So even though I paid off that lump sum on my old loan that I just paid off, the 42K, I still owe $600 because that's the interest from the month of October to November or whatever. So I still owe interest on that loan even though I paid off all that money. And the same with credit card number one, the 15K, I still owe $275 on that, again, because of the time where I paid it, at the time of month I paid it off was during a billing cycle. I paid off the lump sum. The interest wasn't calculated into that yet. So that's what that is. So just be aware of that, because I don't want you to pay off and think you're in the gold and then all of a sudden you get a late fee because you didn't pay off that interest from that was still lingering, that uncalculated or uncounted for interest. So the other thing, I got a little note here, in some loans, you can't just pay them off straight up. They have a loan payoff process that you got to follow. So just make sure you follow that, and you should be all set. So just keep an eye out for the crumbs. Go back and make sure that there's no interest 3 or 4 weeks later, a month later. You don't want that shit biting in your ass. You just did all this work to clear it up, to have a late payment and shoot everything right into the basement. So that's number one. So tip number two is, let's talk about the interest. So I told you that my interest was 17.5% on the loan. But here's the thing. With interest, I don't really care about the interest. It doesn't really affect me. It does, because it does bring up your payments. But when I'm going for these loans, I unless I have two loans that I'm comparing and I'm going to end up picking one, then I'll use the lower interest. But usually, if that's the interest, I just go for it, because I have no intention on seeing this loan through the whole life. If it's a 7-year loan, I plan on paying it off in 2 or 3 years and moving on to the next one. So that's why interest I don't really pay that much attention to it. Me, I'm more after the lower monthly payments that help me on a bi-weekly or monthly basis, a day-to-day basis. And, and while you're paying that down, you're improving your credit score because you paid off all that other stuff. So that's stuff we talked about before. And I just want to make a note of this so that, like I said, I just want to give you the good and the bad. So the crumbs is some of the bad to look out for. But on my loan, the number was, so like I said, it was 17.5% for 7 years. I asked for 70, got 70. And if I paid monthly for the whole 7 years, I'm going to end up paying $122,000 on the 70. So just be aware of that too. Is you get the loan for 70, you're going to end up paying a lot more back. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. This 70, if I ended up paying this off through the 7 years, will cost me $122,000. So again, so one, check for crumbs, make sure there's no uncalculated interest that bites you in the ass. And two, just be aware that if you ask, like me, I asked for 70, I'm gonna have to pay back 122. That's how that shit works. They want their money, they're gonna get their money. So now number 3. What I'm gonna say is keep an eye on your credit score. You know what I'm saying? Go out and create a Credit Karma account. And I think it's still free, and Credit Karma, it's not exact, but it puts you in the ballpark. So I'll say that. And then you'll also get, your bank will also provide you a credit score. If you've got a credit card or whatever, they will send you your credit score as it goes up and down in your email too. So you can track it that way. But I found Credit Karma is the easiest. It tracks all 3 of the credit agencies and gives you, like, again, a rough number. You're in the ballpark, so you know where you're at. So I'm gonna make a note on the credit score too. I went on to Credit Karma the day after I got approved for the loan. And just to let you know that I thought my score was high. I haven't checked it in a while, but my score was 680, somewhere between 680 and 690. And I was still able to get that loan. So let me see, what do I got here? Follow up and check in a couple months, see if it improved. Oh yeah, so what I'm gonna do is, that was what my credit score was the day after. In another month or 2, I'll go back and check. Maybe I'll do a follow-up, a part 4, and we'll see what my credit score is then. As long as I don't fuck with the other credit cards, then I should be okay. So that's what that is right there. There was something else there was something else I wanted to say. So I'll say it at the end. So let's move on to number 4. So that's what that is. Check your credit, keep an eye on it, keep an eye on your score. Credit Karma is pretty good. I don't know if it's still free. It was when I signed up. So, you could use that. So number 4, the most important thing with this whole thing is keep making your payments. Don't miss a payment, whether it's your credit, the loans, because as soon as you miss one payment, it will tank your whole credit score. Like, one missed payment will tank it. Years of work will go down the drain. So just make sure that you keep making those payments. That way you'll keep this going. And I'm going to give you a couple of the benefits of, making these payments and keeping that credit score high. So, excuse me, a higher credit score. What you can get personal loans, and you can keep stepping them up if you need to. You'll be more likely to get approved because you're showing a history of paying them back. You know what I'm saying? You'll be more likely to get a credit card or even ask for an increase on a credit card you already have because, again, you've shown a history of being able to pay your debts back. So that might work for you there too, So you got higher personal loans. You can either get more credit cards or increase the limit on the cards you got now. Car loans will be easier. You'll probably be able to get a little more with a lower interest rate. Mortgage loans, because again, you're creating this history of paying back. You know what I'm saying? And now here's one that you need to know of is rent. If you're not a buyer, if you're not buying property, if you rent or you're trying to rent, the landlords run your credit score. How do I know? Because my landlord ran mine when I got the apartment. And then I found out the app he used, and I created an account and ran it against myself. So they do run credit scores if you're trying to rent, because they want to, again, see if your history is that you're going to pay. You know what I'm saying? So the credit score is good to get rentals as well. And then this one, put a star or an asterisk, is employers. Wherever you work or if you're applying for a job, they might sneak a credit score in. I don't know how, if they can, sneak one in and it doesn't hit your score, it doesn't give it a hard hit. But just be careful of that, because again, I've heard that they might want to see how responsible you are. If you can't handle money, then why are they going to have you, handling shit at their job? So just be aware of those too, all right? And then I'm going to give you an example real quick of what I do for one credit card that I have, and I only use it for this one purpose. So my cell phone provider, which I'm using on this phone right here that I'm talking to you with, that cell phone provider also has their own credit card, which I have. I have them, and then I have a credit card. So when I get the phone bill every month, what I do is I'll use the credit card and pay off the phone bill. And then when the credit card bill comes in, I'll pay that off normally. So I use the credit card to pay the phone bill, and then I pay the credit card. So I'm using the card and I'm paying it off. Using it, paying it off. Using it, paying it off. So I'm building that history, and if I need an increase, because my history is I haven't missed a payment, I can ask for an increase and I'll most likely get it. So that's what that is. I have a fifth point here, but before I go on to that, there was one other point I wanted to make, and that is, if you're going to apply for these loans, just know this, is that you really have one shot to nail it. Like, so don't just sit there and shoot in the dark, because as soon as the first bank denies you, and then you apply to another one, they're going to see that rejection on your credit score. They're going to see that you got a hard hit on your credit score and that it was a rejection. They're going to see that whoever you applied to rejected you. They're going to reject you too. So just be aware that if you get a rejection, you can try again, but you're probably going to get rejected again, and then that's going to hit your credit scores that you got rejected by 2 banks. You know what I mean? So just make sure that the shot you take is worth it. You know what I'm saying? That you have the best chance of getting a loan that you can get, because if you miss it, you might have to wait a few months before you can try again. All right, so last thing, and then this will wrap it up for this Let's Talk Money series, is number 5. I just want to say where I heard this. I just want to give credit, where credit's due. So I first heard of this whole loan flipping thing back in the early 90s. I was 19 to 17 years old, and I heard it from one of my mom's ex-boyfriends. His name was Franny. And I remember he was trying to explain it to me back then, but I was, smoking weed, drinking, popping pills, running the streets, doing all that shit. I wasn't hearing loan shit, but it always stuck in my head that that's how you do it. Boom, boom, boom. And then when I got jammed up, my uncle, Neil Burnett, W34381, OG, you know what I'm saying? He ended up breaking this down to me. And now that I was a little older, I understood it a little more. And he would sit there and really break it down. And when I got the opportunity to try the loan, I've been following his steps. So I got the loan. I said, let me try this. Let's see if it works. And I've been following that for the last 10 to 12 years. So, I first heard it from my mom's ex-boyfriend named Franny. And then my uncle Neil, he also broke this down to me. I mean, he broke it down to the very last compound. You know what I'm saying? So those are the two that put this in my head. I've just taken their plan and I ran with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know where these people are anymore. I don't know what happened to Franny. I haven't seen him in over 30 years. And Unc, I lost touch with Unc about, 2 or 3 years ago. I was putting money on his books, and then Christmas I dropped some money. I went to drop money on New Year's and his account was gone. I called the DOC and they wouldn't tell me shit. Said, yeah, we can't tell you, and I never heard from him again. So I don't know what happened. I'm hoping he got a medical parole or something, but I don't know. But anyway, that's it. That's the part 3 of Let's Talk Money series. So I just wanted to break that down to you. I wanted to give you the little pitfalls at the end, the crumbs that you got to clean up. And so that's what it is. So, all right, I think I got to get back. I'm out here in the lobby. I'm just making this real quick, and I just wanted to give you everything so that way you don't get blindsided by anything, and all of a sudden you did all this work and it fucks everything up. So, all right, so I'm going to just wrap it up here, and that's it. So I'll get back to y'all again soon. Deuces.